course, we always hear Republicans talking about the American worker, but they actually screwed the American worker by Republicans refusing to grant back pay to contractors. The Senate, the House and the Senate, of course, passed the bill to reopen the government. But the problem is people like security guards, cafeteria workers, and drivers don't get back pay. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts is sponsoring a bill in the House to pay those workers. In the Senate bill, do the same thing. It has 20 Democratic senators as co-sponsors. Not one Republican has signed on. Bill Spriggs is the chief economist for the AFL-CIO. Of course, Bill, we focus on the American worker, courtesy of our folks at AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, one of the partners here for Roland Martin Unfiltered. And it is unconscionable to have Republicans always talking about the American worker, talking about, oh, look at unemployment being so low, and then they want to screw these folks who aren't federal workers, but who are contractors for the federal government.
Well, you know, one of the things is we have that many contractors because in the past Republicans have argued against having these people as public sector workers. If you had grown up in D.C. as I did, guards, the cafeteria workers, all of these were federal workers. During Ronald Reagan's era, we began to privatize those services, and we turned jobs that were solid middle class jobs into work for poverty wage jobs. And so it transformed Washington immediately because it cut off a path to middle class jobs. It's a tragedy that Congress and the president were able to shut down the government, particularly that the Republican Senate refused 34 days earlier to go ahead with what they had passed in December and tell the president we weren't going to go along with the shutdown. And the result was that contract workers were hurt. We don't know exactly how many because we don't know how their companies exactly responded, but just sort of back of the envelope, it's something like 2.6 contract workers per government worker, which would mean we're talking about close to 2 million workers who potentially are going to be affected who lost their pay. We're going to find out tomorrow when the job numbers come out.
Bill, Bill, for the folks who are watching, again, when we say lost their pay, the government workers will get back pay. But these workers, so basically for more than a month, they will not get a check. So that means that these people are going to likely be behind on their rent or their mortgage or their car payments, the kids' tuition. That money will not get replaced.
It won't get replaced. It won't get replaced in the economy. The rest of us have to care about it, not just because we should care about abusing other humans, but it's going to hurt. It has hurt the pocketbooks of others as well. But I think you want to be a little careful. You don't want to make it out like, oh, look, we did this for government workers and we didn't do this for these other workers. The government workers were owed as well. What Congress and the president have not done is owe up to the damage they did. This is the issue. So it's creating a hurricane and then acting like you didn't do it. So they're...
Well, first of all, we're familiar with how they treat Puerto Rico and hurricanes.
Yes, exactly. They pretend it didn't happen and they get upset when people tell them it happened and then they want to argue about the numbers. We're going to see the numbers, like I said, tomorrow when the numbers come out. The numbers that come out tomorrow are for January, and the week that was January 12th included this shutdown that at that point had already been on for weeks. And while we've had short shutdowns, what has happened in the past is many of these companies would hold on to their workers because they knew that the government would reopen and they didn't want to lose their workforce. In this instance, it went on too long, and many of these companies, of course, could not pay workers for that amount of time without the company itself receiving money. So in some cases, like the ones who were cafeteria workers, it's because no one's going to be going to the cafeteria because the federal workers aren't there. Some of them is because the office wasn't open, so the tech workers, the security guards, those people are directly paid only when the government is open. Their business can't possibly make up for the lost revenue. So there's a lot of revenue that was lost throughout Washington and in those cities that are regional centers for the federal government. People forget Washington is where the headquarters are, but for all of the federal agencies, the majority of workers are outside the Washington, D.C. area.
Right.
So it's a national problem.
Right. Well, absolutely. And again, I would hope that people will be applying public pressure. I would hope that those contractors are going to be calling members of the House and the Senate, trying to get these folks to move because they deserve to get paid with a federal government shutdown that was idiotic from the beginning. Bill Spriggs, the AFL-CIO. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. We want to talk about our partners at D-Herbs. Now, of course, I've been talking about their full body cleanse, which I did, 20-day cleanse. Did nothing but fruits and raw vegetables and nuts, drank nothing but water. Couldn't have any fried foods, no processed foods, couldn't even have fish. I ended up losing about 18 pounds, but it wasn't just about losing weight. It was also about cleaning out your system, removing all that toxicity that is in the body, and providing for more energy as well. Now, you want to try their full body cleanse. Remember, they got about 27 different cleanses that you can also try. So what you do is go to dherbs.com, use the promo code Roland. You can also call 1-866-4D-HERBS, 1-866-4D-HERBS. Now, also, what's been the benefit to me is that by being on this cleanse for 20 days, it also changes how you eat and also what you focus on. So by being on the cleanse, look, I couldn't eat anything but raw vegetables and fruits and nuts. And so even as I travel now, so I'm thinking about smoothies or thinking about different ways to eat. And so it changes just not your body, but also how you look at what you eat and what you put in your body. And so if you want to try it as well, again, I want you to go to dherbs.com, dherbs.com, use the promo code Roland, or you can call 1-866-4D-HERBS, 1-866-4D-HERBS. Don't forget to use the promo code Roland. And we want you to support, of course, one of the partners who is supporting Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.